why we do it over the tray, not over the bowl, so we don't mess up our measuring here. All right, so now we got everything we need. We're also gonna need one piece of equipment, which is the equipment. So make sure that if you're in charge of writing down your equipment list, that you have one tray, 4 bowls, 2 spoons, a butter knife, and then we're gonna need the cookie scoop, a 1/4 teaspoon. All right, we're gonna take these ingredients back to the unit. Okay, so while the assistant cook is getting those things, while that's happening, the head cook will stay behind and measure out everything that we need that is in the unit. The flour, the baking soda, the salt, the white sugar. Yeah, so they'll stay behind and measure out those items using the handy dandy scale over here. So we're going to go ahead and need 1, 2, 3, 4 more bowls. So let's get 4 more bowls out there. I'm gonna pull out. So the head cook should be doing this while the assistant cook is over there, and the other 2 members can assist with measuring these items. Okay. So how we do this with the scale. Now, what's important here is that when you're doing this, it's important that you keep track of what's measured and what's not measured, okay? Besides the vanilla, nothing on this tray is measured. So I'm gonna move the vanilla over here because we know it's measured, and then the things on the tray are not measured, okay? So you can keep track of that. So we're gonna start with the sugar right here. With the sugar, we're gonna need 3.25 ounces. So turn on my scale. Okay. Hold on. Okay, let's turn on my scale. I put the bowl on. What do I need to do right now? Tear it out, zero it out. So the bowl means nothing to us. Now I'm gonna put sugar on here until it says 3.2 because my ounces on the thing only go to 1 decimal place. So we're gonna go to 3.2. Okay, got a little too much. I'm gonna take it out. Perfect. So now we know that that is 3.2 ounces of sugar. Okay, so as I measure stuff, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check it off so I know, okay, it is measured, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just put a big check mark next to the vanilla, and then we've measured the white sugar, so I'm gonna put a big check mark there. And now I'm gonna put this white sugar in this bowl. I'm gonna set it with the vanilla because we know those are measured, okay? I'm gonna kind of shake that out a little bit. I'm gonna use it again. So put the bowl back on. Should go back to 0 because we're using the same bowl, okay? Now we're gonna switch to the flour. So I need 7.25 ounces, but on the scale, it's gonna read 7.2. So 3, 5, 6.
Can this be used for edible cookie dough?
No. Because we're using eggs, so you can't eat this cookie dough. There are other recipes for edible cookie dough, but we're not doing that one today. All right, so that's 7.2 for the flour. So I'm gonna put this flour in here. Put that over here. Twist that out a little bit. Should go back to 0 because we're using the same bowl. Now I'm gonna do my chocolate chips. Actually, wait, yeah. Just because I already have the scale out. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 ounces. Okay, so that's 5 ounces right there. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna put this back because we don't need this. We have 5 ounces in here. So we're gonna put it back over there. All right, so we have this set aside. We're gonna put that over there. We're gonna go back to 0, and now we're gonna do the brown sugar next. so brown sugar. So, oh, I have to check mark because I did the chocolate chips. I did the flour. Got to make sure I check those off so I don't get confused. It's important to keep track because with so many ingredients, it's easy to get confused. Okay, so we're looking at 3.25 ounces here. So we got, that's 3.4, it's a little too much. 3.2, perfect. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put the rest of this back. Okay, now we're gonna get into the sticky stuff.
What's this sticky stuff?
The butter and the shortening are sticky. Okay, so the butter should be 2 ounces, so we're gonna do that first, and it is 2.3, so it's a little too much. So I'm just gonna shave a little bit of that off.
I thought butter isn't sticky.
Okay, it's a little too much still. Just gonna shave a little more off. And just a little bit more. Okay. 2, perfect. So we have our butter perfectly measured there. So check off, let's see, we got brown sugar, we got butter. Okay, now we need to do the shortening. So we just need 2 ounces here. That's a little too much. So we're gonna take some off. It's not enough. I'll put a little back. Ooh, just almost there. Not quite. 2. Perfect. So we got our shortening there, and I can check that off. Okay, so now it's time. So we got all of these measured, okay? Now, while this is happening, you can start having other people start doing the steps, which are on the next page. I'm just doing it one at a time to show you everything, but once, like with your group, once you have things measured, you can start working through the steps, okay? So now we need to do the salt and the baking soda. I need 2 more small bowls or cups. If you run out of bowls, you can use cups. All right, so I'm gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon for each of these here. Here's a cup. Here we go. So I'm gonna do this over my tray, so if I make a mess, it stays on the tray. So we got 1/2 teaspoon of salt there, and we got 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda there. Okay, so we're gonna take the salt and baking soda, we're gonna put those back. We have all of our ingredients measured, except we have not cracked our egg. So we're gonna need 1 more small bowl or cup if we're out. So I'm gonna check those 2 off, so the only thing left is the egg. Okay, so crack the egg over the separate bowl, and you're gonna throw away, I'll just put it on the tray there so I can throw that away. And then I made a little mess with the egg, so we gotta make sure that, clean that up. We don't wanna leave raw egg sitting around, because that's not good.
It'll smell. Right?
Okay, there we go. All right, so we got everything ready to go that we're gonna need, and we have this cookie scoop over here. Now, before I started all of this, I preheated the oven. So I'm gonna show you how to do that now. I'm not using this oven, but I preheated it. So before you even start to preheat the oven, you gotta move your oven racks. So this oven is a little bit warm right now. Yeah, the oven racks are hot because I was using it earlier, but I have no hot pads. Would you grab me some hot pads from that one? Basically, you have to move the oven rack up to the top 2 sections. So there's like these little sections here, so we have to move the oven racks higher to bake the cookies. It's in the cupboard next to the oven, the drawer next to the oven. It's right there. Thank you. 2. Toss them. Thanks. Okay. So we gotta fill these out. They're gonna go up here. We want them in the top too. So yeah, that's about as high as it'll go because I don't want it touching to be too close. But we want them up to the top too. Then we preheat our oven. How you preheat the oven is first you're gonna press the button that says bake. Then you're gonna change it to the temperature you want, which is 375 for this recipe. Then you press start on and it'll say PRE, okay? So bake, arrows, start on. Do not press buttons, especially the buttons that I put X's through. Do not press any of those buttons, okay? I'm not gonna be using this oven right now, so I'm gonna clear that off. Okay, so you wanna do that at the beginning, and I already have my oven preheated for this. Okay, I'm gonna scoot this tray over here because this is gonna go for dishes for later. So I'm gonna move that next to the sink for dishes, okay? Then got all my ingredients and now I'm ready to start baking, okay? So we're gonna be using our stand mixer for this. So you wanna pull it out, plug it in. Now the stand mixer has a lock and unlock option here. To lift it up, it needs to be in the unlock while it's mixing it when it says lock. This is our paddle attachment, which we'll use later. You're gonna need your whisk attachment for the beginning of this step, and the whisk attachment looks like this, okay? So you're going to flip the page and go to the steps now, okay? So the first step that you're gonna do, we already measured out ingredients, so let's check that off because we know that that's done. Next, it says in small bowl, mix flour, salt, and baking soda until the ingredients are evenly mixed. So we have our flour, our salt, and our baking soda. And so we're just gonna get a small mixing bowl from up here, okay? So, I just realized that I didn't go over all the equipment that we're gonna need. So let's do that now. So while the assistant cook is getting and measuring out those ingredients, the head cook needs to get out all the equipment that you're gonna need. So it looks like in total, we're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bowls. We're going to need our cookie scoop, which we already went over. And then before we had our measuring spoons that I already went over before. And I think I went over everything that was on that tray before. So additional equipment that you're gonna need is the wire whisk and the paddle attachment, the stand mixer and mixing bowl that goes to the stand mixer. You're also going to need a rubber spatula, which is in the drawer that says rubber spatulas. So if you'll grab that out, right there. So we're gonna need a rubber spatula, and we're gonna need one of these regular spatulas for later for when we're doing the baking sheets. You're gonna need 2 baking trays. You're gonna need at least 2 baking trays. You might end up needing a 3rd one. So we're gonna just set those right here. We're gonna need cook spray as well. Okay, let's see. Looking at the steps, using the wire whisk, beat on high, add eggs and vanilla, paddle attachment. Okay, we're gonna need probably another spoon. Will you just grab a regular spoon out of there? Okay, I think that's everything you need. It does have you use a cooling rack. The cooling rack is optional. If you have time, you'll use the cooling rack. Okay, so there's all the equipment that we're going to need, okay? So we have all of our bowls. We have our spoon, our rubber spatula, our cookie scoop, our regular spatula, our mix spray, our 2 whisk attachments, our stand mixer, and our 2 baking sheets over here, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna put the flour in, the baking soda, the salt. Do not mix up the salt and sugar. It's important that only these 3 ingredients go in because that's what the recipe wants you to do. The sugar over here has a separate purpose with the brown sugar. Do not just think, oh, I'm gonna mix all the dry and then I'm gonna mix all the wet. This is not muffins, this is cookies. It's different, okay? So we're going to just combine those 3, baking soda, salt, flour. We're gonna just combine all that. Oh, be careful. Miss Martin's spilling a little bit. Okay,